down the stretch with Portland. In your mind, though, what was the biggest difference why you just couldn't quite get over the hump in the final couple minutes?
I mean, really, it was our start. Our start was so poor with the turnovers that gave them such a cushion, and we had to fight back. And we built the lead, and then they made tough shots. I mean, I was pretty pleased with the defense for the most part. We were draped on them. They made tough shots, and we actually missed a few when we needed them. But was pleased the way that we turned the game around to our favor. But it was our start that really did us in.
Before the game, when I had asked you what you were looking for to see if you were building on what you did in New Orleans, and you had said energy, extra efforts, and attention to detail. And do you feel like you saw those in this game?
Yeah, well, after the first quarter, I didn't think the first quarter we brought that type of approach, but we started to get into the game a little bit in the second, and then the second half, I thought we were really good.
Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Chris, you fell on by 16 the other night in New Orleans before coming back to win that game. Anything to the kind of slow starts, or what needs to change, at least in the opening maybe minutes of the game?
Yeah, well, tonight it was turnovers, just sloppy turnovers. We had 4 in the first 2.5 minutes. That's when I called the timeout. We ended up with 7 in the first quarter, 9 for the half. So we did a better job in the second quarter. Every time we moved the ball and took care of it, I think we got a pretty good look. We got a little stagnant in the second quarter with our movement, but other than that, we put up pretty good numbers throughout most of the game.
Aside from the Chicago game, there haven't been many instances so far where you guys like to play late game situations. How did you like the execution of both ends of the floor down the stretch?
I mean, I thought we got pretty good looks. I mean, we missed a couple bunnies. We needed a 3 from Jalen in the corner there on that last play. I guess he felt he was closed out for another drive, but it was fine. I mean, we got Ant slipped a screen that we felt would happen, and Cat found him. We got to the free throw line out of it.
John, go ahead.
Chris, you guys did a really good job on the boards, and you went to Wancho today too. Was that part just to get that rebounding that he brings and the lift that he gave you in that regard?
Yeah, it was more about the energy, John. Like I thought we just were a little flat in the first half, and I knew Wancho would bring some bounce, and he did. And on the boards and transition, and obviously the ability to knock down a shot.
And then you talked a little bit about the contested shots, but Carmelo in particular, I mean, it seemed like you're right in his face time and time again with Josh and whoever else, just to see him knock down those shots. Is that kind of deflating, just knowing how well you were playing in that, and it still just wasn't quite enough?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a great scorer. I mean, that's basically his game right now, is just to ISO you a mid-range jumper. We tried to press up, make him drive, and he does a good job of creating angles and separation, and tonight he made a bunch of them.
Dave?
Hey, Chris. With Jalen and the success he's had scoring, particularly with the second unit, does it matter that he's been like kind of the primary ball handler out there? Do you think that suits him in his game?
I don't know if it matters or not. Really, I think he's a pretty good scorer on or off the ball. When he's on the ball, he's usually giving it up and getting it back, and then that's when he's been having some success.
And then just having these situations where you play a team again, how much do you, in your first shot at a situation like this, how much do you plan to maybe tinker with the game plan? How much can you in one day?
Yeah, no, I love these back-to-back situations against the same team. It's a lot like a playoff. You look at the tape, you make a couple adjustments, you throw it up again, and you see if they work. I mean, they're going to make some, we're going to make some. So I think it's good. It's good for our guys. It'll be good for our coaching staff, and we get to run it right back.
Coach, you showed the two bodies on game on the pick and roll and got better on that over the course of the game. Do you think that this team is in an adjustment period to defending the short roll and those sort of things that they haven't done as much this year? Is that something that progresses over time?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little hesitancy to come over and flood the paint at times in those situations. We got a little bit better and then he just made tough shots over top of us. But, when we got him going to the basket, I thought we were great. We showed him a big crowd at the rim, and the layups he was getting in the first half kind of dried up for him in the second half. I thought that was a true credit to our guys who were coming over early.
Great, go ahead.
Chris, that second unit put together really seems kind of synergistic. Is that something that you came up with over the break, having a Kobe with those guys, or is it just the way you saw it in practice? What was the genesis of putting that together the way it has been?
Well, I mean, I think they were playing pretty well, before I got here. Even I thought they had a nice little rhythm, but they have the ability to stretch the floor. They have defensive component with Josh, good cutting, good ball movement. That unit really will play together well. And the first unit plays together well too. It's just a different dynamic. Obviously, trying to feature Cat, and then I think the second unit plays a little faster, so that helps them with their scoring too.
The change is Noel for McLaughlin, obviously, in that it does kind of seem in some ways like he's his not having the ball in his hands as much as J-Mac used to seems to have kind of democratized the touches or whatever you want to call it there.
Yeah, I think I can see both of them being able to handle, and now. Again, we're not overly fussy about who brings the ball down and gets into our stuff, and particularly with that second unit. So yeah, I think we'll see. We've seen now maybe won't be as dominant with J-Mac trying to handle and pick and roll. We'll be a little bit more dynamic. We can show several faces.
Last question, John.
Yeah, Chris, just the replay at the end with Ant going to the basket and it getting knocked off of his hand. I mean, it seemed pretty clear that Covington fouled him in that situation. Is that kind of a tough thing to look at as a coach, to see that it still gets awarded to Portland, even though it's pretty clear that they missed a call in that regard?
Yeah, that's the unintended consequence of the late game review. It's years gone by, there may have been a foul, there may not have been a foul, it may have been off you, may not have been off of you, but they would kind of adjudicate the situation, understanding that they missed the foul, and give you the ball on the baseline. A tough call at a tough time for sure, but there were other chances in the game for us too.